Because we thought, as we reached and we actually passed the 5,000 subscribers, and we want really to thank you about that, we thought to invite a teacher to lead this lesson for you. And with big pleasure, we want to invite Maksim Kotlov here to our channel. Hello, Mr. Maksim.
Hi, Matteo. Hi, Katyusha.
We know very well each other, so for us it's actually strange to have this kind of a formal introduction of the lesson, but this is how it should be done. And if you don't know Maksim Kotlov and you're not familiar with the WDC world, he is a former world finalist, many times Russian champion. His students reached the final in Blackpool International. They became world champions in amateur. So really a big name in the WDC world, and he's today with us to explain and to help us in the CBMP world. Actually, we all know what is CBMP, but when it's time to explain and to show, it's quite difficult. So please help us in the CBMP.
Hello, subscribers, and thanks a lot to Matteo and Katyusha for inviting me. Yeah, and I will say that this topic sounds very simple, but actually it's not so easy to create a proper actions in CBMP. So the classical description of the CBMP is when the foot of the moving leg stands on the line of dance of the supporting leg or crosses the line of the supporting leg. This is a classical description which is always used by our teachers, but sometimes it doesn't give us enough information to create this position. So first of all, during our dance we've got two tracks. One track is for the right leg and foot, and the other track is for the left leg and foot. So we don't change this rule. We always dance on two tracks, but in terms of using the position of counter body movement position, we slightly change the angle of our feet in relationship to this track. So if, for example, I go straight forward using two tracks for my feet, then I turn my feet a little bit, in this case to the right, and then I'm still using two tracks, but the direction of movement is not the same as the direction of the feet. So the feet are angled to the direction of the movement. That gives us an impression that I take a step and two of my feet, both of my feet, are on the same line. And I'm continuing to move like that. If I try to make a bigger step, it gives us an impression that the foot of the moving leg crosses the line of the supporting leg. So the classical description of the CBMP, which we talked about before, sometimes give us the wrong impression about our action. So a lot of people are trying to walk on the same line, which doesn't give us a wide enough base to keep us in balance. So it is very important that using the CBMP, as I said, we keep our feet still on two tracks, and our base is wide enough to support both of the sides of our body. This is the main thing. So the CBMP is when our feet, we're using two tracks, and our feet are not facing the exact direction of movement. They are slightly angled, but I'm still on two of those tracks. And this give us the base for the whole body to be in balance. So the main two cases when we use our CBMP is when we go into the prominent position or when we go outside of each other. So we have to plan our construction of the feet and the direction of movement in relationship to each other. And now we'll discuss the prominent position first. In classical description of the prominent position, the lady is standing slightly behind the man's right side, and we have three lines of dances for our feet. So there will be a line of dance for the partner's left foot, then one line of dance for the partner's right foot and the girl's left foot, and the third line of dance will be for the girl's right foot. So when we create the construction of the prominent position, For example, I need to step into the CBMP on a beat 1 when, for example, I'm doing a chasse from the prominent position in waltz. I create 3 tracks in my feet on the previous step, so it will be on beat 3. So I take, if I have to do a chasse from the prominent position, exactly line of dance, I take a step with my left foot forward and slightly sideways to open the track for my right foot and for Katya's left foot, which is exactly behind mine. Давай. Stop. And notice that left leg of the boy and the right leg of the girl and the feet, there is quite a big distance in between of them. So they can use, the boy, can use the right leg and Katya can use her left leg to go through. And notice that their feet are not facing the exact direction of movement. So it gives us a slight turn of the bodies to each other. The construction of the prominent position, which we discussed, is classical, but there are some different ways to create the prominent position that we're using in the modern dancing. So it depends on the height relationship and especially on the relationship of the length of our legs. For example, Matteo and Katya can do a classical one because Matteo is, for example, much taller than me and his legs are longer. So Katya can keep her moving leg right behind and under his moving leg when she lowers. In case, for example, if I dance with Katya, I haven't got those long legs as Matteo has got, so we're not using 3 line of dances, we're using 4 line of dances, and Katya is not staying behind me. So we will have 1 line of dance for my left foot, 2nd line of dance for my right foot, and the same will have Katya. So she is not placed straight behind me, but she's a little bit aside. So we're creating step 3, our legs are wide open, and now we've got 2 line of dance inside. So Katya is not behind me, Katya is exactly on my right side, and we continue the action. It gives her an opportunity to move a little bit more with me because she's got quite enough space to create the action of the moving leg. The second case when we use the counter body movement position is when we move outside of each other. So we'll first of all create the base and create the tracks in our feet to suit the outside action. So there are still 4 tracks in our feet, but it's not 1 by 1 as we do in the closed position. So there are 2 of my tracks and next to it 2 of Katya's tracks. And if, for example, my feet are facing the wall, we start to move diagonally in relationship to our foot position. So to create a proper outside action into the CBMP, we've got 4 tracks, and then we start to move diagonally into relationship of the foot positions. So that's how it's usually constructed. And it is done, of course, both ways, forwards and backwards. Once again, notice that our feet are not facing the direction of movement. As we discussed the construction of the CBMP when we're using it to move into the prominent position, we mentioned that we create a base for the CBMP on a previous step. If we're dancing not in a closed position, but outside of each other, we also create a proper base in advance. So it will be on a previous step. We will take running finish into the open natural turn, which we are doing some kind of a circle. And now Matteo and Katya will show us the construction. So what they have to do now is finish the 2nd step of running finish, line of dance, and to create an action diagonal to wall on beat 1, they're taking the last step of the running finish diagonally to the wall, so in advance on the 3rd step, and then our feet are still facing the line of dance. And then they will take a step on a CBMP. Then they continue the open natural, and if we need to continue after the last step of the open natural into the CBMP, moving line of dance. So we create this step that prepares us to do the CBMP on the first step of the next figure, which will be also the running finish. Okay, and notice the construction of the base. So the feet of our couple are facing line of dance, but the step is taken diagonally to wall. So now they will lower and create a step outside. 1, 2, 3. So now we've got the same, we see the same construction. So the couple has taken a step on beat 3, nearly line of dance, but the feet are not facing the same direction. They're slightly turned in, and now they can take a step outside. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. And the next example of the outside step that we'll take is the last step of the feather step. So it is only one step in CBMP on the feather step, which is the last one. And as we said, we have to create the proper base position and the proper direction of movement to create the CBMP on the last. We have to do it on the previous step. So we're taking a driving step, and after we collect our legs and feet, the next step is going forward and slightly sideways. And after that, we continue the same direction, which gives us a CBMP on the last one. Correct, and continue the same direction. Perfect. Вроде так, похоже было. We have looked at the general rules of the usage of the CBMP for the step in the prominent position and outside step, but there is one thing that we have to mention also. So sometimes there are figures that we use the change of our contact zone from right to right into the right to right CBMP before making a step outside as a driving step usually. So what I mean, the right to right contact zone, or our center of the couple, is when we have 4 line of dances for our feet, and they're going one by one. So my line of dance for my left foot, then Katya's line of dance for her right foot, then once again mine and hers. It gives us a contact zone which is called right to right. So it is on my right side and Katyusha's right side, and we've got a half of the body connected to each other. In this kind of a common center, we cannot make a step outside, or a driving step especially. So we're using a different common center in this case. We're using right to right CBMP, which is changed in our base first of all. So we'll have 4 line of dances still, but as I already said, 2 mine line of dances and 2 Katyusha's line of dance. So in this case, our contact zone is still right to right, but it is quite narrow, not that wide as it used to be. So it is just a quarter of the body of our right side which is connected to each other. In this case, we can easily make a step outside. So there are steps in our routines where we have to change these centers. So usually it is made with 2 ways. So the first way to create, so we're standing in our foot position, is exactly fitting the right to right contact zone. So we can turn our feet to the left both, and then create a proper common zone and proper construction for taking a step outside. Or I can really go a little bit sideways to create the same foot construction.
Bạn đang đi làm thuê cho công ty và bạn đang loay hoay tìm cách để có thêm một nguồn thu nhập khác.
And now once again, we're in the proper contact zone in the right to right CBMP. If we take, for example, a chaser from prominent position in waltz, so we're taking our first steps in the promenade. As we already mentioned, we're closing our feet and we're standing right to right. But to create a step on beat 1 in CBMP, our foot positions and direction of movement will be a little bit different. So I'm stepping a little bit aside in relationship to girl step. So the girl is taking a step exactly diagonal to wall as I'm stepping a little bit different direction. So in between diag to wall and line of dance. And as you see, there is a wide space in our base created, I mean, a distance between Katya's right foot and my left foot. So there is a space for my moving leg and moving foot to create an outside step. So,
Мой только единственное, знаешь, что, давай просто внимательнее, что у тебя стопки, да, вот они прям вот так будут стоять, да, то есть примерно не открывайся, прям вот так, да, да, чтобы стопки были развернуты, хорошо, да, не шаг, почти не
we looked at the situation when in the last step of the chassis from prominent position, we change our centers into right-to-right CBMP by creating a little bit difference in the direction of the last step. So we're using this principle, absolutely the same principle, when we're driving outside. So it is not only used, it's not only used in the prominent position. So for example, if I take a running finish into the feather step, it will be pretty much the same. So we have done the 2 steps of the running finish, and now I'm taking this step, the last step of the finish, to create an action diagonal to the center. So Katyusha is going exactly diag to center, and I'm going in between diag to center and center. So our foot positions of direction of movement are slightly different. And now we'll do in contact. So we've done the first 2 steps. Now Katyusha is stepping exactly diagonal to the center, and I'm stepping in between diag to center and center. So, and I slide on her right side. Then we can create a lowering action into the driving action in CBMP. 1. Bam, bam, finishing the feather step. And as you see in this example, we're doing a driving step outside, and the last step of the feather step is also outside. So we are not changing our centers until the end of the step. And in this case, the direction of the 3 steps in the feather step will be absolutely the same. So we don't change the direction as we have done on the previous one. So doing a slightly sideways action of the second. As soon as we've done the driving step in the CBMP, we don't need already to prepare our base for the last step of the CBMP. Ну, давай, Моть, как раз ты покажешь сейчас. So we have looked at the basic principles of counter body movement position, and also we have discussed the main situations when we use the counter body movement position. I hope that this lesson was quite clear for you and will be very helpful, as it is hopefully very helpful for Matteo and Katyusha.
For sure. So, Maksim, from us, really a big thank you to have decided to participate in this lecture for our channel. Actually, you are the first teacher to do this until now.
Oh, thanks a lot.
Until now, our subscribers.
Hopefully not the last one.
No, we hope no. We hope that actually they will like, and through their support, we can grow and bring you more content like this. So I think we can close the video. Thank you once again, and see you in the next video.
See you.
Bye.